कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहारी जयं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शत श्री श्रीमद शिल भय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की समवेत भक्तवृंद की श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराणम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan ईशम ईशवतारकान् तत्प्रकाशं च तत्शक्ति कृष्ण चैतन्य संज्ञकम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। मदेकबन्धुमत्सङ्गीन् मद्गुरो मन्महाधना मन्निस्तारकमद्भाग्य मदानन्दनमस्तु ते। असाधु साधुतादायिन् अतीनीच च तारक हानमञ्च कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णा हृत्कण्ठया स्फुर। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, The Appearance of Sukadeva Goswami, Text number 13. Rājovāca Oho vayam dhanya-tamā nṛpāṇāṁ mahat-tamānugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ rājñāṁ kulam brāhmaṇa-pāda-śaucād dūrād visṛṣṭaṁ bata garhya-karma rājovāca अहो वयं धन्यतमा नृपाणाम् mahattamānugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ rājñāṁ kulam brāhmaṇa-pāda-śaucād dūrād visṛṣṭaṁ bata garhya-karma rājovāca अहो vayaṁ dhanya-tamā nṛpāṇāṁ mahat-tama-nugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ rājñām kulam brāhmaṇa-pāda-śaucād dūrād visṛṣṭaṁ bata garhya-karma. Yes, repeat. Rājovāca. dūrād visṛṣṭaṁ bata garhya-karma. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki rājovāca. The fortunate king said, Aho, vayam, we, dhanya-tamāḥ, most thankful, nṛpāṇāṁ, of all the kings, mahat-tama, of the great souls, anugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ, trained to get favors, rājñām, of the royal, kulam, orders, brāhmaṇa-pāda, feet of the brāhmaṇas, śaucāt, refuse after cleaning, dūrāt, at a distance, visṛṣṭaṁ, always left out, bata, on account of, garhya, condemnable, karma, activities. Translation: the fortunate king said, indeed, we are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. Generally, you, sages, consider royalty as refuse to be rejected and left in a distant place. Purport: according to religious principles, stool, urine, water, etc. must be left at a long distance. Attached bathrooms, urinals, etc. may be very convenient amenities of modern civilization, but they are ordered to be situated at a distance from residential quarters. That very example is cited herein in relation to the kingly order for those who are progressively marching back to Godhead. Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu said that to be in intimate touch with dollars and cents men or the kingly order is worse than suicide for one who desires to go back to Godhead. In other words, the transcendentalists do not generally associate with men who are too enamored by the external beauty of God's creation. By advanced knowledge in spiritual realization, the transcendentalist knows that this beautiful material world is nothing but a shadowy reflection of the reality, the kingdom of God. They are not, therefore, very much captivated by royal opulence or anything like that. But in the case of Mahārāja Parīkṣit, the situation was different. Apparently, the king was condemned to death by an inexperienced brāhmana boy, but factually he was called by the Lord to return to him. Other transcendentalists, the great sages and mystics who assembled together because of Mahārāja Parīkṣit's fasting until death, were quite anxious to see him, for he was going back to Godhead. Mahārāja Parīkṣit also could understand that the great sages who assembled there were all kind to his forefathers. the Pandavas because of their devotional service to the Lord. He therefore felt grateful to the sages for being present there at the last stage of his life. And he felt that it was all due to the greatness of his late forefathers or grandfathers. He felt proud, therefore, that he happened to be the descendant of such great devotees. Such pride for the devotees of the Lord is certainly not equal to the puffed up sense of vanity for material prosperity. The first is reality, whereas the other is false and vain. Very wonderful purport given by Srila Prabhupada in this connection to enlighten all of us who are following Bhagavad Dharma. So we have been hearing this narration how after Mahārāja Parīkṣit got the message that he has got 7 more days left. So he immediately relinquished his duty as a king, and he decided to go to the bank of Ganga and sat there and fast until death. And when this message spread all over, then all these great souls, great rishis, who were feeling indebted to the Pandavas, and they all came to see how this great king, Mahārāja Parīkṣit, is going to go back to Godhead. So Prabhupada is saying that even though he had accursed by an inexperienced Brahmana boy, but factually he was called by the Lord to return to him. So in that way, these great sages, they understood the greatness of such a gathering. So they not only came on their own, they brought all their disciples also. This is also a very significant point to take a note on. So everybody arrived on the spot. Here is Mahārāja Parīkṣit. He is just getting ready, and he greeted all of them very nicely. And when everybody was comfortably seated, they got their respective seats. Then Mahārāja Parīkṣit now going to speak what he is going to do in next 4 verses, starting with text number 13. You can see the matured approach by a perfect devotee of the Lord in the assembly of the sages. Mahārāja Parīkṣit was the emperor of the world. In that way, he did not lack anything in terms of material prosperity, material opulence. Whatever he desired to attain, he could attain just like that. It is said that he is saying, vayaṁ, aham vayaṁ dhanya-tamā nṛpāṇāṁ. He is not saying vayaṁ dhanya. He is saying vayaṁ dhanyatamā nṛpāṇāṁ. Amongst nṛpāṇāṁ means of all the kings, we are most fortunate. He is not saying that we are fortunate. Because this gives an understanding about Mahārāja Parīkṣit's mental situation, that he is not carried away by the worldly opulence. We know, we understand that a king, because of having the worldly opulence, they can get anything they want in this world, right? If you go to some country today where there are still kings are ruling, they are in position as a ruler. If you go, you will find in the king's palace the best of best things available. Whatever is available in other part of the world, it's with them. Whatever best opulence in their country or state, it's with them, right? So they are dhanya. That's why Srila Prabhupada, while commenting, he is saying he was actually let me read it out. He felt proud. So Mahārāja Parīkṣit was proud. Did he become proud because he was a king and there was anything and everything that can be attained? It was within by his reach? No, that was not the case. That's why I was saying, Prabhupada's last sentence, the first is reality. He was proud because of the being and worthy descendant of the Pandavas, because of their closeness to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of their performance of the devotional service unto the personalities of Godhead, how dear they were. That brought the good fortune of Mahārāja Parīkṣit. That's how he was proud. And the second thing, pride comes from what? People who are puffed up because of material prosperity. No, he was not puffed up because of material prosperity. That's why the word used here is dhanya-tamāḥ, not dhanya. Any kind of purushartha, desirable objects are very easily attained by one who has got material opulences. So they can be discussed as a dhanya. They are fortunate in the material sense. But when Mahārāja Parīkṣit is saying, Oho, vayam dhanyatamā, nṛpāṇāṁ, of all the kings, we are most fortunate. Why? mahattamānugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ. Mahattamānugrahaṇīya. When does one become fortunate to receive the favor of the great souls, great sages? That means they have to perform some activity which is going to draw the grace of the great souls. So that's how Mahārāja Parīkṣit is saying that, Prabhupada translates, we are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. What does it mean? Means, our acharyas, they explain, tatrapi parama purushartha bhagavat seva tam arhanti iti dhanyatamā tatha bhuta vayam. We are the king who are able to attain the devotional service, Bhagavat Seva, that is Parama Purushartha, that is the ultimate goal, and we have attained that. That's why we are dhanyatamā. That's how I am being proud. mahattamānugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ. That means, then he is very interesting point saying, rājñāṁ kulam brāhmaṇa-pāda-śaucād. He is saying that this kind of favor is not generally attained by the kings, because kings are normally puffed up, having material opulence. In Indian history also we have seen many kings who came, and after they became the ruler, and they started to disrespect the brāhmaṇas and brahminical culture. That's how that was the downfall. They fell down. So in that way, he is saying, rājñāṁ kulam. Normally these kings are not fortunate to receive the grace of the great sages. Why? brāhmaṇa-pāda-śaucād, dūrād visṛṣṭaṁ bata garhya-karma. Because such kings are engaged in some undesirable or condemnable activities which cast them off from receiving the mercy of the great souls, great sages. What does it mean? That means these kings, sometimes they have to perform some activities which are not very palatable. What are those activities? Srila Jiva Goswami, he is saying is saying garhya-karma hingsadi lakshanam jasya tadrisam iti. Means sometimes they need to perform some activity which involves violence and other acts. They need to get involved in tax collection and other things. So sometimes, it's painful for other living entities. So that's why they don't generally get the favor of the Lord, of the great devotees of the Lord. But we are dhanya-tamāḥ. We, the Pandavas, even though we are also the kings, still we have attained this favor of the great souls. What does it mean? Here, okay, first of all let us say, again, brāhmaṇa-pāda-śaucād. Brāhmaṇa-pāda-śaucād, in this connection, Srila Prabhupada quotes that verse, which is quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary. According to religious principles, stool, urine, wash water, etc. must be left at a long distance. These are all undesirable things. So one should not keep just where they reside. It should be cast off. So these brāhmaṇas, their position is like that. That means they are no way qualified to reach even that place where the brāhmaṇas, stool, urine or wash waters are left. That means, what does it mean? That means they cannot very easily get the favor of the great souls because of garhya-karma. That means those who are in administrative position, they need to understand the severity of their karma. If they are not behaving properly, they can very easily remain bereft of the mercy of the great souls. That's what he is saying. So, in this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami also says, mahattamānugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ Bhagavatam anugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ ije swayambhuvāda tadrisha santa dhanya-tamā. He is saying that just like great souls, great devotees like Swayambhuva Manu and others. Swayambhuva Manu was also the king. And he also received the favor of the Lord. He was actually blessed by the Lord. He is remembering those kings. How did Swayambhuva Manu receive the favor of the Lord? We know it is explained in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, before coming to 8th canto, Mahārāja Parīkṣit is listening to Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, and in 4th canto, he had given a hint about this Swayambhuva Manu, and then he went on describing, then until he came to the 8th canto, where Mahārāja Parīkṣit wanted to know more about these Manus, even though they are the rulers, because after hearing a bit about the qualities of Swayambhuva Manu, so he started to ask questions to know more about the other Manus. Therefore, we can see in the 4th Manvantara, this Gajendra Mokshana Lila, the pastimes of the deliverance of Gajendra was discussed. So that happened because he wanted to know more about him, Tamasa Manu, 4th Manu. So in this connection, it is said that this Swayambhuva Manu was most blessed personality. Why he was very blessed? Because as we know, Maharaj Manu, he had 2 daughters, Akuti and Prasuti, and Devahuti, right? Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti. So this Akuti, she got married to Ruchi Prajapati. and Devhuti got married to Kapil. Huh? Kardam Muni. So, in the womb of Devhuti, Kardama gave birth to Kapil Dev, incarnation of God. In the womb of Akuti, Ruchi Prajapati gave birth to Yajna. He was also an incarnation of the God. And this Swayambhava Manu, even though he was the king, ruler, but he was completely detached to the worldly opulence. Once he decided to give up his duty as a king, and he went to the forest and started to meditate on the personality of Godhead on the bank of river Sunanda. When he left, he went with his wife also. So, he was meditating on the personality of Godhead, sitting on the bank of this river Sunanda. And as he went into the deep meditation, then the prayers unto the personality of Godhead, which is an expression of giving joy to Lord Vishnu through glorifying his qualities and personalities and begging for his own deliverance, he started to offer prayers in Samadhi. And in his prayers, he says, "My dear Lord, you are present everywhere. You are the witness of all, and you actually enliven the senses, even the internal organs of all the living entities. You are the actual consciousness of everything in this world. Whatever object is created in this world is coming from you. You being the source of everything, you must be worshipped by all." So in that way, while speaking like this, he started to speak this Isopanishad. These mantras, what we see in Isopanishad, they are actually glorification of Lord Vishnu for his pleasure. So when he glorified Lord Vishnu, he is saying, "Atma vasyam idam sarvam jatkincha jagatyam jagat." Means he is saying, whatever object is seen in this world are all the dwelling place of Lord Vishnu. Idam Vishwam Atma Vasyam. Atma means who? Vishnu, the Lord. Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita Magada Kasya Siddhanam. He is saying, enjoy the wealth that is given by the Lord and do not hanker after what is not given by Him. Such is the quality of the great garhya-karma. What is that character attracts the grace or the favor of the great souls? That is what we see in the life of Swayambhava Manu, or even in the lives of the Pandavas. That's why Srila Jiva Goswami particularly is referring to the practice adopted by Swayambhava Manu. Like they received the grace of the Lord. How did it happen? You see, when he was meditating on the Vishnu and he started offering these prayers, citing these mantras, which is now known as Isopanishad, and at that time these Rakshasas, they were very much angry and they wanted to eat him up and they attacked him. And then this Yajna, who was his grandson, an incarnation of God, he actually protected him. So see how when a devotee is engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead, Lord personally takes interest to protect such a devotee. And in this connection, one thing we need to understand, what is that character or what is that characteristic activity attracts the mercy of the great souls? Because here we are discussing Srila Jiva Goswami giving a hint about the character of Swayambhuva Manu. So in that connection, we can see the explanation is given in Upanishad. This Upanishad we study, that actually that is a prayer offered to Lord Vishnu to receive his grace, his favor. What is it? The first verse, what is that first verse? Magdakasya siddhanam, isavasyam idam sarvam, jatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhanjitha magdakasya siddhanam. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he is commenting to this Atmavasyam idam sarvam. He is saying, Javad vriyate jatharam tavat sattvam hidehinam adhikam jobhimanyante sastena dandamarhati. Whatever have been assigned to one by the Lord for his sustenance, he should accept that much only. If he is accepting more than that, then he is a thief, he is worthy for punishment. So now the question comes, well, everybody have been given with some quota, so they take it. What is that consciousness one must cultivate when one claims proprietorship over his legitimate wealth, right? One who has been given with some amount of wealth for his maintenance, he can claim his proprietorship. That is his actually legitimate wealth. So what kind of consciousness he is supposed to cultivate that is going to attract the grace of the Lord, the great souls? That is the understanding we need to know. So here the understanding is, even though I have been given with a particular amount of wealth for my sustenance and I am claiming the proprietorship, but I should not be thinking like, oh, this is mine, this is actually, I am the one who can actually enjoy it. That kind of mentality is wrong. The mentality should be cultivated, okay, everything belongs to God. Who is the owner of all wealth? And he has given me this much property for my sustenance, and before I take it for myself, I need to use it in his service. That's why devotee has to do deity worship, devotee has to do some contribution, especially grahasthas, they need to contribute, and they have to give some favor for the preaching activities of the Lord, and then the rest, whatever remains, they should take it for their sustenance. The mood should be that everything belongs to God. This is all Krishna's property, even this body. Right? Nobody should think that the senses, this body is kind of my property. I can enjoy the way I want to use my body. No! You cannot use your body the way you want. This is not your property. This is a property given to you by God. He is the owner. Right? Lalate kesvam dhyaye narayana madhudare bhakshastare madhavam tu govindam kanthakapake. Why do we chant this Vishnu name and put tilak in this 12th part of our body? Actually, he is the owner. He is deciding, and he is going to give protection. He is protecting actually this body. You cannot protect this body. Oh, no, there are so many hospitals, so many inventions are being made, people go there, they get protection for the body, we know that. How can you say we cannot protect? My dear sir, do you think all your medicines and this medical industry is going to protect? How many people are getting saved? Huh? No, they are not protector actually, they are not the actual protector. Neither your wealth can also protect you, neither your relatives can protect you, no one. Vishnu is the protector. He is protector means he is the owner of this property, he is protecting. So even our body, our senses also, it is not our property. We have been given to use this as a medium so that we can transcend this world and come back to Godhead. So this is how the consciousness is cultivated by Manu Maharaj, by the Pandavas, by the great souls who received the mercy of the great souls. That's why he is saying, rājñām kulam brāhmaṇa-pāda-śaucād. Generally, the kings are not worthy of receiving the favor of the great souls. By saying rājñām kulam means those who are in the kshatriya spirit even. So therefore, the devotees of the Lord need to understand how we should feel proud. As we can see here, Mahārāja Parīkṣit was proud, therefore, that he happened to be the descendant of such great devotees. Who are these? Devotees Pandavas. That means, in our society, this gives us a reminder that every grahastha, they will have their descendants, right? They are creating their parampara. His father is there. They are creating their descendants, their parampara. So in that particular family, the tradition should be such, the training given to the children should be such that their forefathers are helping the children to take the path of devotional service. They should learn how to respect the great souls, sages and brāhmaṇas, how to give protection to Brahminical culture and cow. All this training has to be given because he is Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. If we are not creating such kind of training culture, like here Prabhupada is saying, the Pandavas, Maharaj Prabhupada is saying, who are trained to get the favors from the great souls. Trained. The particular character has to be cultivated by the existing elderly members of a particular family, which will inspire the small children who are there to learn just by watching. Children, they learn by watching. When a great soul visits my father's house, when I see how he is respecting, that's how I also get inspired. Next time, somebody doesn't have to tell me that you go and offer obeisances, right? You automatically feel inspired. Because he has seen my father, he always offers obeisances. My father, how he speaks to them. That is wow, anugrahaṇīya-śīlāḥ, the character has to be practiced in the family. Then our children will feel fortunate. Like there are some devotees we have seen in South India who belong to maybe Śrī Sampradaya. I belong to Śrī family, Śrī Sampradaya. I am born in Śrī Sampradaya in a family. Wow, I belong to Madhva family, Madhva Sampradaya. Right? Yeah, they are proud because that's a real pride actually. And they do practice. So similarly, our devotees should be such, their character, their devotional activities should be such that the children will automatically practice and they should feel proud of their fathers. And in such kind of activity is going to draw the favor of the great souls. Then it is very easy to get the favor of the Lord, to go back home, back to Godhead. So in this way, if we follow this culture very nicely, by the mercy of the great souls and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the devotees will go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any question or comment? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhu, thank you for your nice class. If you see the purport, there are 3 times the going back to Godhead are mentioned, and you end the class also going to Godhead, go back to home, go back to Godhead. My question is that where as a devotee we make mistake that every time we miss the bus for the lifetime. So where we make the mistake that we cannot go back to Godhead for this lifetime. Prabhupada told that finish your business, go back to home, go back to Godhead. But where we make the mistake?
Actually, when you forget the spiritual culture that you are supposed to practice, that is when you miss the bus. Means, the spiritual culture, one thing I would say, okay, we have to, it is our occupational duty actually. Actually, it is our, you can say, it should go along with this swarupa of a Vaishnava. What is that? That we must respect the Vaishnavas. But, sometimes I get carried away with my emotions, maybe in association, and I commit mistake, same mistake again. Then what happens? That means that time I am forgetting the culture that I supposed to adopt. Actually, if we always stay connected with our practice, our culture, then that is eventually qualify us to attain the transcendental affection of the personality of Godhead. That means there is no question of missing the bus. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explained that two things we suffer because of committing Vaishnava aparad, or it may be God given. For many of us, mostly it is because of Vaishnava aparad. That's what, when we miss that bus, that culture, that time we miss the bus. That's the main thing we need to guard against. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu says, Jadi Vaishnava parād uṭehati mata upadeva chindetar sukhi jai pata. Tate mali jatna kari kare avaran aparad hastir jaiche nahoi udgam. You have to be very careful. Very, very dangerous actually. Very difficult. Very difficult. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, you came from such a wonderful background. What made you give up or your sampradayas, such great sampradayas still continuing?
Which sampradaya, Mataji?
You said Madhva and Ramanuja.
No,
you
no,
came
no.
from Madhva?
No, I was saying some devotees who belong to Sri Sampradaya or Madhva Sampradaya, they actually say, I am from Madhva family. I belong to that tradition. Or somebody who is born into Sri Sampradaya family, he said, yes, they are proud actually. I have met with such people, Mataji. So that's a good thing actually, because they are attached to that kind of practice, and they are, morning time, they do their ritual, very, very, very good. Some brāhmaṇas, some devotees I have seen, very pakka, very nice. That's a good thing, good practice. I was referring that our children also should feel like that. I belong to ISKCON family. ISKCON family means Prabhupada's family. That should be our pride. Yes, those children who are born into our Krishna conscious organization, I feel they are not the child of that particular family. That child deserves the love and affection, transcendental affection from every single member of this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, because he is a child of this organization. He is not a child of that particular parent. That's how our children should feel. I belong to International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In our gene, the Krishna Bhakti is injected. The child's gene should be injected with Krishna Bhakti in that way, not only by the parents, but by all the members of our organization. That should be our duty. Then only our children can feel proud of being a child in this organization. That's what I meant.
So that example I can share with you. In Sharanagati, the whole village raises a child. It's a practical example, you will see.
Good.
Yes. So
excellent. And we want to see many more examples coming forward. Many devotees, those who are watching online, welcome dear devotees, please listen. In Sharanagati we have got such a wonderful example. So you all take part. If you feel that we should make our children proud of being a member of Prabhupada's family, let us be more serious in our practice and inspire our children. Thank you, Mataji, for giving the evidence. Yes, we are very happy to hear that there is practice going on. Yeah, that's what we are expecting. We want to conquer the whole world. Prabhupada wanted to conquer the whole world, Mataji. That task is still entrusted to us. Right? I mean to say, whole world should be chanting Krishna's name. They should be recognizing Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everybody must be doing devotional service unto Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Then we say we have conquered the whole world. No one should remain bereft of the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. That's why if you don't make our children feel proud of being a member of this organization, how can they, distribute this Mahaprabhu's mercy? That is what we need to do. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.